So bless the Lord, bless the Lord. We're going to continue with this discussion or reading on this book. We can talk about our schedule after this.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah. So Nova, we stopped at 3.3. Am I last time? Am I right? So.
Thanks.
Session 3. Yeah, we can depend on you to know the progress. So, I think we are in 4 conversation.
Yeah, we actually finished 3.4, so we're on 3.5, I think.
Wow. Okay.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so we're going to start from 3.6 today, am I right? So, okay.
No, we are on 3.5 today.
I'm sorry. Okay,
yeah.
3.5. 子曰：“敌夷，I'm sorry，夷狄之有君，不如足下之亡也。” Let's hear your translation.
I actually really like this one. I've heard of this one before.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
The master said, "The rude tribes of the east and the north have their princes, and are not like the states of our great land, which are without them."
Again, it's a culture thing, right? So because those nations don't have a firm foundation of culture, what have you? When you have a good king, the general will for that life, those nations not necessarily improved or good, but even the one don't have a king, don't have a good leadership. Let's not absent in terms of good leadership, I should say, but because the people are well civilized, well educated, they know what is the proper thing to do, right? So, think about in old time, you look at the movie, you understand the barbarians. They're pretty savage, can be, right? So we use the word savage. I'll just borrow English connotations or histories, okay? They kill each other, do all kinds of things, but they can have strong leaders, We actually mentioned Genghis Khan, right, in Mongolia Empire. He sweep the whole world almost, so, but it only bring, much of what he did, it was destruction rather than build anything solid, so. Anyway, that being said, I like Germany. On the Hitler, I don't think that kind of culture, that kind of way of exercise leadership or become a strong nation is a good vision. Am I making sense to you? Yes. Let's move on to 3.6. So, 既是履泰山，子谓言有曰：“予夫能救与？”对曰：“不能啊。”子曰：“呜呼！曾为泰山不入临放乎？” Okay, go ahead.
The chief of the chief family was about to sacrifice to the Tai mountain. The master said to Zan Yu, "Can you not save him from this?" He answered, "I cannot." Confucius said, "Alas, will you say that the Tai mountain is not so discerning as Lin Feng?"
So we're ahead of time talking about this character called Lin Feng. I was asking him the essence of Li Yi, means an honorable way of things, right, to govern the nation. And so here, Confucius used a comment. Let me translate. 既是 again is one of the major aristocrat, upper class. Basically, it was actually a primer this time. They have a king, but the king really not control anything. So this mighty subject become a dominating figure, and he decided to again violate the normal way of honorable we carry things around. He superseded his position, tried to act in the state of a king to do this sacrifice, which is very dishonorable, but on the certain place. So, and one of the disciple Confucius was his what do you call it, officials or whatever subject, whatever so like one servant David, so kind of thing. So, and so a chancellor for him, chancellor for him. So Confucius asked, "Can you just stop him, argue him, get him out of it? Because it's not good. Not good thing to do." And his disciple said, "No, I can't." So, I mean, he were arrogant and determined to do this to show he's powerful, he's important, right? So, he's a wicked leader there. So. And so Confucius began to be grieved by it. Again, he grieved by this turning down and degradation of the social norm, honorable ways, right? So he said, "Hey, 哎呀，成为泰山不如林放 means Taisai is the place where they serve these things, right? They have the form of this order, religion, whatever they have. There's a social norm, there's an honorable way, right? And this guy goes there, try to insert himself to it. Just like Uzziah the king in the Bible, insert himself to the Levitical servicehood, right? Making sense here? So it just honors the whole thing, basically. So the whole thing, there are people serving there, right? There are people organizing there, right? There are certain roles there, making sense, in charge of the whole thing. So it was not talking about the location, we're talking about the people who in charge the things. They're supposed to only allow the king or the proper people to do those things, right? So, but because this man is so powerful and assertive, they can't resist him. They said, "Okay, we're going to just tag along and allow you to do this. We're going to have you to perform this kind of rituals." I mean, if you're in charge of ritual, this guy is not the proper place to do, a proper person to do it, and represent the whole nation's faith and the whole nation's order. Would you yield to this guy? Or are you going to say, "That's not the right way for you to do it, not the right person. I'm not going to serve you. I'm not going to honor your occasion." Am I right? If you get killed or dispelled, whatever, so be it. So, but the people in serving this occasion, they did not do it. They just give in. Okay, you want to do it? Okay, we're gonna listen to you and do it. Then Lin Fang, the guy, asked the essence, the fundamental, the practice honorable system, including this whole setup, right? So, making sense to you? So he said, "Okay, all those priests, officials in this setup, no one is better even than this is commoner." Basically, like the Bible talking about the corruption of the priesthood. Amen. Spiritual leaderships. Is that amazing? So here he observed. He's outsider as well. Confucius. He was troubled. So, and the disciples he caught in the middle of it, they can do nothing about it. So, what a grievous thing is. So, indeed, so because the social order totally breaking down. Now, the social order is good or bad, this is not the point. The point is that when this thing totally breaking down, what the nation will be, what kind of leader we're going to have. Making sense to you? So, yeah. 3.7. Again, Confucius is talking about more than this social order, governmental order. He will talk about the cultural norms require some foundational respect and breaking down. Now, apply some comment to today. What do you think? Elijah, what do you think of our today? American or Western or whoever. What's happening here in our nation, in our generation?
Like right now?
Yeah.
Well, I guess the big thing going on now is the virus. I guess, but wait, what do you?
In this context.
Oh, sorry. What context?
In context for social norms, honorable ways of breaking down. So. people dishonored or dishonoring certain values, fundamental values of life, fundamental setup, so making sense here. One of the things I can tell you is people, you have TV personalities, they call the comedies, whatever. But actually they are all scoffers and mockers, and right? So what they do? They're mocking the president, mocking whoever in leadership all the time. It's mocking them, making fun of them. And to the whole world to say. It's one thing to criticize, making fun of others, but continue to mock the leadership. There's no respect for certain leadership. So would you think the leader be honored by others? I mean, I know myself when I'm back in, I don't know American, I have a high honor for the office of presidency, for the setup of the government here, Senate, Congress, because I thought that's the best system in the world, so. But after a while, to see all those mocking character criticize them, man, they may be foolish, so. But as a general, is mocking them, making fun of them, play trick characters, mimic their actions, just literally turn them aside. And this foolish politician endorse it, then come along, shoot on. This whole world is absurd. It's absolutely absurd. Anyone in good office requires respect, requires certain honor, requires certain credibility. Amen. Hallelujah. So this TV shows, you did something very serious when the beneficial the turnaround, just mocking you, so there's no credibility anymore. So would you think the world, the people outside, they think this is democracy? This is a comedy indeed. This is absurd. This is worse than this fun story. Surely they will not respect the leaders. Surely they will not respect this culture. Why should they? Why should they? So let's think about it, this simple picture. This is fundamentals, okay? So you guys were honorable sons and children to your parents. Okay? But if you have if you found certain families, unwise young man, unwise parents around, and the children continue to talk behind the back about the whole band their parents are, all making sense to you, there's no respect. Maybe the parents are foolish parents, but what about the boy, the girls, they talking in such a way? Would you respect that young life? Obviously, you will not respect. Now, there are reasons for them to talk like that. They can justify that. But is that for them to criticize and continue to tell others, behind the parents' back, basically talk bad about the parents, right? So, well, am I gossiping here, or is common into this culture? Everybody endorsed that. Now, what young people grow up going to be like if you endorse that? What kind of friendship you're going to form in such people? Do you understand my point? It's one thing to confront the wrong, to confront the parents. Another thing to have this kind of things continue to overtake this normal and solid order. Comments on this word point? Go ahead. I'm talking about this order of a government, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then I'll talk about the family order. Those are two basic institutions of a social life. And we allow it to continue to drag to the drains. So how you expect there will be good leadership in the social arena? Lawlessness, criticism, unhealthy ways for interacting, am I, and commenting, whatever, it's just lost, am I? So, yeah. And anybody say, let's stop doing that. This is foolish. This is very damaging for society, so for families. Sounds as if they are bad characters. They want to oppress people. They want to criticize people. You don't know democracy. You don't know freedom of rights. Freedom, whatever. Are you kidding me? Freedom is not encourage foolish things to flourish, to torn yourself apart. Freedom for you to cooperate, to build good things together, for evil to be bad ways to be succeed, right? So, healthy, beneficial. I'm just talking, so. But we treat a norm this society. I will tell you, that's the very thing that is going to be the demise of this nation and this culture as a whole. Yeah, that's quick. You don't need 100 years to see the result. Go ahead.
I think it's always beneficial too to take a look at history, because what you'll often see, and this goes from doctrines of government to doctrines of theology, is you'll take an original idea that may have come from a very inspired person or group of people, and then claim that your ideas are rooted in theirs when they actually contradict them. So as an example, with the founding of our nation, founded on what was considered the inherent rights of an individual and of freedom, that all men are created equal. This was, as you already know, it came from a lot of Enlightenment ideals.
Yes.
And then it was less than a century later that another ideology came forth,
which is
known as transcendentalism.
Wow, I don't know anything about that.
It is, I guess, somewhat complicated, but from what I know, it was almost like basically deifying the human soul. So, not particularly claiming that one is a god that has the powers of a god, but that they took the ideas of all men being created equal, and then they really romanticized and personalized and emphasized it.
The man's free agency is ideal.
Yeah, they were humanists to the extreme.
Oh, wow.
And so that was during the 19th century.
So humanism, basically.
Yeah, but it was put in a romanticized form.
I see. Yeah.
So that actually was brought about, just to give a character, that they call him the father of transcendentalism, and that's Ralph Waldo Emerson.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And then
Yeah.
people like,
yeah.
What's his name? Walt Whitman.
Oh, yeah.
He was basically a poetic
they're friends.
form.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's actually from the founding of the Constitution, then going into the 19th century, then leading into today. It's been an increased emphasis on this, on
idealization of man.
This humanist perspective.
Yeah.
And
that's interesting.
really, it's, if you go all the way into the base, fundamental, essential aspects of this mindset, it's literally deifying the human soul.
Yes.
Because everyone is a god in their own eyes.
You can be
almost.
a god. Yeah.
And America, more than any other culture, is steeped in this way of thinking.
That's interesting. Yeah. That's Greek. Greek thoughts like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been like this rolling and building snowball of a mindset that's being built.
On the other side, there is oppressive, tyranny, bad things going on as well. So they're abused, those kind of entrustments.
But that's where that weird connection comes between what was an original idea and what today's ideas say that they're
wrong to the extreme.
That is the core of their beliefs, but it's actually something far different. Like we observe the very same thing with people like the Pharisees, claiming that they were adherents of the law but knew not the heart of the law.
Oh yes.
So they had formed a completely separate religion that was based on something that was true, but they were the fundamental ways of interpretation of that law were
were obscured. Yeah. So yeah. Might be a little over top of Elijah because a lot of context there's a lot of history there. Yeah, but you guys understand what we try to see here. I mean, there are certain fundamental things breaking down. It can be very damaging, and it should be grievous to one who have right standing, right understanding. So one of the one of the requirements for the spiritual leader is to care about those things profoundly. Especially you see the prophetic figures in the Bible. They really care about the state of God's people in light with what God desired, intended for them to be. Right? So the division, the gap, continue torn them. So, and that's the cry. That's a fundamental motivation and fundamental requirements what it means to be a prophet of the Lord. Prophet is not just know something, gifted in something, have revelatory knowledge. A prophet is always a burden of the heart of the Father, the heart of God towards His people. It's not really a good thing, so to carry. Not good for self, it's definitely good for our destiny in God, our purpose in God. So 3.7, okay, so 子曰：君子无所争，必也射乎？一样而生，下而饮，其争也君子啊。Okay. Go ahead.
The master said, "The student of virtue has no contentions. If it be said he cannot avoid them, shall this be an archery? But he bows complacently to his competitors. Thus he ascends the hall, descends, and exacts the forfeit of drinking. In his contention he is still the Chunsi."
Well, this actually speaking about one of the trainings of those young people. He wanted them to be very candid, respectful. He said, hey, you're not supposed to bickering, competing with one another. Always supposed to respect, help one another, loving one another. So, but there is things that in terms of skills, in terms of sports requirements, one of the sports is they going to learn how to do archery. Okay, so, and they need a competition, that's a competing game in a sense. So they would attend to it, so if you're going to compete, well, show who is the best with archery, basically. But the occasion is that when you down it, you drink some wine. In this type, it's not for feast, it's about quenching thirst, right? So make sense to you? Like sweating, stuff like that. Then you take turns, don't fight, each one take their own turns. You respectfully, like play golf, am I able to take the turn in the tournament, right? So there's a respectful way to carry yourself in that, so. And then when you're down, they might have a feast, have a gathering together, so have a drink a little bit thing. Oh, we're friendly time. But don't let this whole process, because the competitive game, so or somebody's good, somebody's bad, destroy the whole thing, like a brawling, so like destroy a relationship, right? You can see we do that. We see certain sports like football. People just fight on the course, regardless whatever, the audience they have, just lost themselves, so in a game. So evidently it's a poor reflection of personal character. More than that, they disrespect the whole thing, the whole occasion. So in all this, Confucius wasn't talking about a ceremonial way or an honor way to do something together. He was talking about this whole thing is training young people how to carry on greater spiritual responsibility and enter and conduct yourself in greater engagement of life. For example, the court of the nation, court of the king, right? Affairs, managing a nation. Should you compete each other, scheme each other? You know, says my poem, bicker one another, or should you work together? You know, so well, that's applied to everywhere. You know, in this case, it's a school setting. Young people learn something together on the leadership of a teacher. What about you guys in home? Huh? You know, competing, sometimes lost yourself, sometimes you do, am I sorry? So, well, that's not good, you know. So with that, you know, love one another. But this, I like the word moderation, you know. So, you know, games is a game. Don't lose yourself, you know. So, a game is for fun, for false relationship. Now it turned to be what? To be a bad thing, you know. So. Because we have a healthy idea of what it means to achieve excellency, what it means to be better than others. Listen, to be better than others, that's another statement for achieve excellency. So this is a different way of talking about it, right? So don't think, don't belie against the language, okay? So achieve excellency, be better than others in many occasions it was implied. You can send to you. And don't be shy about it. I'm good with this. I'm good, you know, so I'm the one. I'm the one going to teach the Bible. I will preach the gospel. I'm talking. So, and but don't use that to bicker other, to belittle other, to be a competition game, you know, so to be a foolish, we carry ourselves. Now, we also need to know that, your excellency is not good enough. You need to have others to help them to achieve their excellency. So that's the true excellency of all excellencies. Amen. Hallelujah. They can sing to you. So yeah. Anyway, so now you understand. Because a teacher is always carry a culture. He's always interested in imparting a culture. He's not merely interested in engage or teaching certain skills or activities or certain knowledge. He's always interested in what? In build a relational dynamic in culture setting. Right? Hallelujah. That's interesting. So let's see the next one. So 3.8. 子夏问曰：“巧笑倩兮，美名盼兮，素以为勋兮，何谓也？”子曰：“会是后素。”曰：“礼后乎？”子曰：“其余者商也，是可于言师矣。” That's interesting. So they were commenting on a poem. So you go ahead.
I don't really know how to pronounce Zixia.
Zixia.
Zixia asked, saying, "What is the meaning of the passage? The pretty dimples of her artful smile, the well-defined black and white of her eye, the plain ground for the colors." Number 2. The master said, "The business of laying on the colors follows the preparation of the plain ground." Number 3. Ceremonies then are a subsequent thing. The master said, "It is Sheng who can bring out my meaning. Now I can begin to talk about the odes with him."
Or the Asian poem, a collection of Asian poems. So what the poem is on the surface seems is talking about a beautiful girl, so have a beautiful cheeks, beautiful smile, beautiful eyes, so, and 素以为勋兮, what that is? What your translation said?
Which part?
The beautiful eye of the beautiful eyes.
The plain ground for the colors.
That's not good. It's basically white, very beautiful white skin, like a white skin. So, and then, have a color, like a red color. It's very beautiful composite, beautiful look, basically, a girl, right? So what this is, he asked, this is a poem. This is like a popular poem in the classic collection. He said, what this really means? He began ask. This is their textbook, okay? So, and it said, 会是后素. So it basically said, okay, unless you have a plain canvas, good canvas, you do painting, right? So you have to have very clean canvas. Then you can add color to it, right? So you can paint on it. So why Confucius answered that? He was talking about, well, this is a plain canvas, so it's like I might be wrong in this one. Okay, so let me see. This whole poem actually is not merely talking about just anybody. This actually was addressing a noble lady. A noble lady actually last time I shared about her grievously complaining that Cuckoo bound to change the clothes. So this is the same lady actually. She was very pretty. So this poem was praising her. Making sense to you? So yeah. So the whole thing is about this lady, her ways for decorating herself. She don't rely on those external dresses, try to apply as that Cuckoo did, try to decorate herself too much to draw the attraction of the king. She's just very plain looking, but she's a beauty character, natural beauty. So there's her dress is very honorable, very good. She's not trying to appeal to others, in this case the husband, which is a king, with the wrong way. She wants a pure relation, pure engagement, right? The other one is using degraded way, unhealthy way. And says my point, to lure the king, to seduce the king, making sense to you. Well, that's what I hear. So Confucius said, well, there's a difference here, right? So, what she wanted to do is that she used her own plainness, the natural beauty, try to nurture a pure and honorable relationship. So she don't want defiled relationship, she don't want a bad way. You understand? That's my point, corrupt way to engage a relationship with the king, in a sense, so. And so so the student asked, what does this really mean? Why they praise her like this? Because it was a poem not written by this lady, but rather others wrote about this lady. Am I right? So they concentrate on this aspect in regard to another poem praising another one who is doing wrong things. Making sense to you? So she had wrote this poem. That's the lady wrote. But how to understand the whole context, understand this whole engagement, the discussions. It's like we normally study poems, right? So, and so what have you is Confucius said, well, it's like the author of the poem intended to describe the pure beauty of the lady and with her pure plain ways, in order to give color or give a meaning, emphasize rather the importance of the culture or the value, those things that embodies. Making sense to you? So he was not merely talking about this beautiful plain way of natural beauty. Okay, this how the lady carry herself in a way, am I right? So make her looks beautiful. She was talking about what does this culture imply? What is a proper way? There's a whole honorable way being beautiful, and right, with a pure motives, pure intention, pure interactions. So Zixia understand why the poet want to write the praises beauty of this lady, so he understand the author was not merely intended to describe a beautiful girl, beautiful lady. He intended to honor a whole way that was again corrupted by the husband, right, and by the concubine. Make it sense to you? So by praising and writing a praising poem for this lady, he didn't write the concubine, he didn't write the king, he write what? A virtuous lady, right? The beautiful, it's beauty. That's interesting, right? So Confucius understand this whole context, said, okay, now you finally get it. This is a whole poem. Zixia is the students who asked the question, asked Confucius to comment on this poem. Now you fully understand how to really appreciate the poem. Now I can talk to you about how to appreciate the poem. Basically, you understand the context. You can understand the intent of the author, making sense, the nuances, a lot of nuances in that way. Just thinking about it. Okay, so I go to a feast. Let's see, this is a feast. I'm just kind of picture. Okay, so there's a lot of nobles. There's not were creative people. Charismatic people. There's a lot of people, right? So, but there were superficial, were just foolish, foolish life, So let's see. Okay, if I'm invited to this occasion, and I have to interact to stay there. So not that it's not enjoyable. This is not my part of my deal in a sense, right? It doesn't matter how good the food is, how wonderful time, how good the music is. It's my heart is not in this deal, right? So now I would say I talk to the waiter who served me, or someone whoever serves me. I would engage a conversation with them. Imagine I'm just anyone. That doesn't matter, right? Imagine the whole feast was set up for me to honor me. I'm the center. I'm the king, in case. And my subject doing those things. But they carry their own ways, right? So I'm a king. I'm not interested in the one who hold the host for me. I'm not interested in anyone try to talk to me. Not interested in the party or drinks or music. I'm interested now to talking to one who served me with a plain girl or a boy, young man, right? I was talking to him. What a message I'm conveying. Tell me. So what nuances am I expressing here?
Well, it seems like a vessel of true honor is a simple and pure vessel.
Yeah, as I found a very innocent, kind, humble young man who serves me, and right, he knows how to really honor a king, and he knows the real way of life, and right, you understand my point. And all these people want to honor me, and entertain me, but they are so self-centered, so self-important. They honor me is because I'm the king, maybe. You understand my point? They really don't know me. They don't really care about me as a person, right? So surely I'm not happy with that, So making sense to you, Well, listen, what did Jesus happen to Capernaum in Peter's town? The the congregation, the Pharisees, the leaders, right, in that town, religious leaders, they threw a party on him. And he came, he enjoyed with them, he didn't, they even honored him by inviting his disciple, which is a poor man, poor people, right? So we can send to you. And they were most fishermen, they were not noble or rich, they're not supposed to invent that kind of feast. But because they honor the Lord, honor Jesus, so they invite them together. And they all have a way to see one another. And Jesus see all this happening, He didn't run away. He didn't say, I don't intend. He still interact with them, and he's sitting there, and then he talked to them. He said, first he talked about, you guys are fighting for the seats. So, you're not supposed to do that. Said, another occasion, and maybe a different occasion, another guy invited him to come around. They were talking, So, and I think it's either a prostitute or someone seems unclean, So, round her, pour alabaster jar of oil, precious oil, use her hair, tears, and cleanse the feet. And everybody get upset now, So two company upset. Judah upset, said, hey, what a waste of money. So, the leaders who were there honorable in this occasion said, hey, you're not supposed to also with sinners, So she's an unclean woman. And why you allow her to even touch you? She's unclean. And Jesus, I think, he's not his word protected, So. He did not intend to raise any protest before that, until they come on her. He said, hey, when I get your home, nobody wash my hand. Nobody give to wash my feet. And you honor me, the whole feast through at me, for me to have a good time with you. Yeah, nobody want to wash my feet. Nobody wanted to. In those necessary procedure in those cultures to honor your honorable guests, So what they try to do, are they really honor him, or they just carry the frenzy, want to do something, exciting? I don't know what they try to do, but it's evidently it's carried in a word, in negligent way, and God want to shame them. So he invoked this woman. Be a character of his usage. For sure the woman is pure-hearted. And I think it's Mary. But God just sent someone like that in the middle of disrupted everything and like threw a bomb, And do you think the Lord just want to criticize them, or he know what the Father wanted him to say? So he said, well, look, your poor culture. You don't really know how to honor me. You're so self-engrossed, so self-centered. When you receive a certain God, you still think he's going to what? He's serve himself, which is your good point. Now, point I'm making is, let's finish there. So, there's a holy way back to the king's nuanced way to rebuke his subject who tried to throw parties through honorable occasion to him. So let's comment on this one. You guys know movies, you see the nuances of movies. So I wish this is like a little movie for you, So movie scene for you. And the king showed up in the banquet. All the subjects ready to honor him. You understand my point. And then the king said, he's not paying attention to anything. He spent most of the time talking to this waiter, pure-hearted young man. And leave everybody in the limbo, am I right? To carry on. Obviously be awkward. So why the king would not tag along is make a case to speak to the young man rather. What's the nuance? What is the lesson you want them to learn? I'm just saying. Yeah. There's a lesson. Yeah, there's a lesson. He wants them to know how to honor him truly from the bottom of the heart. Am I? So, yeah. And Jesus said, you honor me with your what? With your lips, but you don't really honor me. So it's interesting. Man, we let me just elaborate on this on two levels before we wrap it up. So the first level, And do you want to be a king? To be a servant of the Lord? You always need to exemplify the way of the king, the way of God's heart, righteously. To try to know that everything you do carry a culture with you. You just cannot foolishly run around because people, that's my point. So you have a good time, it's okay, but you don't understand there's a culture with you. You example something. Not manure people, but you are somebody look to, so no, that's one side. The second thing is how you receive and honor others. Truly wanted to honor others. That's something is huge in life. We're huge in life. Now I'm not projecting myself into your life. I'm talking about it's art. It's art. Yeah? It's incredible, beneficial for us to grow in God's favor. Any comments on your part?
Well, I think to make like a connection with the example of the king paying his primary attention in conversation, even with the servant,
Mm-hmm.
is there. In a sense, there's a similar quality between the two of them, which is they both have the heart of a true servant. Both the king and the servant do. And
Yes.
so, when the king, in his wisdom, is able to detect that in one of his subjects, being this pure-hearted and
Yes.
righteous servant of his,
Yes.
then in a sense there's
There's a standard, and I
Yeah.
want the exact.
an
Yes.
aligned standard that
Yeah.
is relatable between them, which is both have a humble heart
Mm-hmm.
in a sense, while the other subjects may indeed be very respectful and also have the attitudes of servants, but there may be different approaches that they have in terms of the position and the attitude of their hearts.
Motives.
Yeah.
Motives matters everything sometimes. Make
Right.
sense to you? Now we're talking about the servant.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. He's a king. He wants us to talk to anybody. He knows how to honor a man. He's not noisy. He's not impressed by our fluffy cultures. When Jesus Christ came, there was Matthew 13 chapter is the interaction. John the Baptist was locked up, ready to die. So his day is very short. He has disciples, and they bring back reports. All reports of doubt to him and said, "Hey, this is doing this, do that." So we don't really know your testimony stands or not. Is he really the one? And John the Baptist, he took a lot of pain actually. So in turmoil, almost ready to overthrow his whole ministry. His credibility. So he sent disciples to Jesus, said, ask him. Ask him. And they found him, and Jesus said, he understands the story, right? So eventually, he said, yes, I'm not doing the thing maybe John the Baptist is expecting to do, but I'm healing the sick, doing all things, preaching the gospel. This is. But I'm not going to the way you people want me to go. And he summed up. Let's turn to it rather than just being me paraphrasing things. I had a hard time to do that. Turn with me to Matthew 13. It's very interesting. You will see the reason I talk the faith is not my own story in a sense. I just try to loop you into a very vivid way to understand culture expressions. 11, not 13. Okay, so he said in 16, to what I can compare these people, don't use the word generation here. They're like a children They have no matured mind, desire, matured ways. He carries himself, and right? So sitting where in the marketplace, that is a public place, and calling out one another. The word marketplace, wrong translation. It's a public square, basically. Okay, so where everybody there, so we play the flute for you. You did not dance. We sing the dirge, you did not more. Play a flute, dance like a wedding occasion. The other is like funeral occasions, happy time and then sorrow time. Am I extreme? But it's a high moment or highlighted occasions of a culture, amen, a social occasion, where everybody's supposed to be part of it and pay attention to it, right? So then said, what he hears the people saying, hey, we play the flute, we set up the occasion for ceremony, for wedding. We set up the occasion for the funeral. We're weeping, crying. So why not be part of it? You're supposed to be part of it. Don't you know we are all joyful? We have a wedding, so important. Don't you know we are all mournful? We have a man who's died. We're all broken-hearted with it. I think you want Jesus to be part of the center, or at least important, at least a participant in this kind of occasion, right? So what here Jesus taking issue with? Why he see that? This thing is basically, what they doing is they did the best, offer the best for him, am I right? So they invite him. You don't invite people to your wedding, to your funeral, just casually. You invite those you honor, and you expect them to know this is a very honorable, solemn occasion, right? Very important occasion, and right? So everybody invited was supposed to feel honored, and right? So I'm the important person. That's why I'm invited. So, making sense to you? So, and Jesus said, "Well, I'm not impressed." Why he's not impressed? Crazy, huh? Thinking about it. Let's continue. He said that. So John came neither eating or drinking. And you see he had demons. So John is not a participant in the social life. And Jesus fully immersed himself in their social life. Flow with them. And then the Son of Man come eating and drinking. I say here's a glutton and a drunkard, a friend tax collector, sinners. But wisdom is proved right by her actions or deeds. The way how you carry yourself, or disciples, whatever, the way. Making sense to you? Now what Jesus is doing, he said, how can I give a description of this generation as a people, of you guys? John is challenging me, Pharisees is challenging me, you guys are puzzled what I was doing. I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do, I'm in the midst, you can have close prosperity with me, and John's out there in the wilderness and you lock him up. So I'm here, flow with the daily life, trying to interact with you, try to have you to recognize who I am and teach you my ways. But you're not willing. You carry on your days and you honor me in your own way. Amen. Hallelujah. Making sense to you? And there's time Jesus tell the disciples, said, let the dead bury the dead. Ian says, sometimes he participates in those occasions. I'm just saying, the whole point is try to refute the people, their confusion. He's just saying basically, well, it's like the king. He's not impressed with the culture, the context, the reception set up for him. Now in life, the same applies. God's wisdom, you guys can look at me. God's wisdom and God's impartation wisdom. he is not going to appeal to what we like or we don't like. Actually, most of the time, he gives that. He only gives who received with honor, with humility, with zeal. Seek it, you'll find it. As you receive, and then it will you apply it, practice, the benefit will come along. Making sense to you? Now, in this way, I'm sharing things with you using this book or the Bible. These things is not miracles. It's not science. It's not beautiful exposition on the essay. Sorry, but it's a culture, and you can see the wisest teachers through the ages. They continue to impart this culture through a time dialogue with people, and he tests people. He tests his the ability to whether they like it or not, or they want to learn to really be planted in that garden, flourish in that garden, or they just want to have go through the motion, go through it. Now, I'm not criticizing you two at all, okay? But I do want to tell you, the time we spend, it's going to be different than normal way you receive a teacher, receive others talking. It will be conversational. It will be dialogue. It will build a culture, a context for you, rather than to stir up your soul, stir up your emotions. You understand? That's my point. So to activate you to do this, do that in the name of the Lord. That's all you will do, and you can do. But in terms of cultural building, it's conversational, so making sense to you, so it can be confrontational, so I like the vision you saw can be set afire to the waves, never come back, so we'll wrap it up, then going to eat something, and let's pray together. So I hope you found encouragement. This kind of teaching can be a little boring. I just wanted you guys to pay attention to it, if possible, come back and listen to it again to see maybe there are things you didn't recognize, you might be missing. So, okay? So, yeah. Elijah, pray for us.
Father, we love you, Lord. I thank you for these teachings today, Lord, these visions, these encounters of you, Lord. Lord, I pray that we will, Lord, listen for you, Lord, that we will never harden our hearts towards you. Lord, I pray that the enemy would not have touch on our lives, Lord, that you would keep him away, Lord, from the distractions he makes in our lives. Lord, I pray for, Lord, your way to be imparted in our hearts, Lord, that you would draw us closer to you. Lord, I thank you for my family, Lord, my group, Lord, Lord, the people around me that I know, Lord, that you would bless their lives. Lord, bless my life, Lord. So, Lord, I pray this in your name. Amen.
Before I wrap up, Nova, give a summary what you think today you learned or we shared. So some clarity on those things. The topic can be scattered, sometimes I drift with the topic as well. And but I want you to give a maybe summary on it. So.
Well, after some initial discussion on some of my conversation that I put forth from certain things that I write down.
I want to finish that, yeah, but that's not in this conversation, so I want to continue in our private conversations.
Sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the major theme for today is the honor that comes through having the heart of a humble servant. And so that was applied in many ways in our...
Okay, you said what? A servant heart, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, just like the honor and the culture of honor that comes through having the heart of a servant.
Yeah.
And in many ways, that's the heart of a leader and of a king.
Let me ask you: is this sounds oppressive thing, or should it be good, solid thing?
Sounds far from oppressive.
Oh yeah, far from
Yeah.
oppressive. Okay.
Well, it depends,
Good.
I guess, on someone's point of view.
Idea of
in a
life.
sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
We're not. Well, I mean, we had a bit of a critical, short discussion concerning
Ah.
the idea of freedom and equality.
Oh,
and discussing-
deification of
Yeah,
man. Yeah.
but
It's
that's
interesting. Yeah.
if anyone
Mm-hmm.
truly wants an idea of the essence of the culture of America, then that's undeniable, unfortunately.
Mm.
So, seriously, like the shortest statement I can give about that is just study history. It'll be very easy to see.
Yeah, very easy to
It's
see.
the development of things.
Yeah.
But then, in further discussion, we had the today's teachings of Confucius that we went over actually adhere to this theme very well.
Mm.
I think one of the concluding 3.8 that we read together, I think summed it up really well. And what I do, even when I take notes, is really capture the essence of what is said instead of writing out the entire thing.
Sure. Yeah.
So, like in this one, I basically wrote down the simple words: the laying of colors follows a plain, pure canvas. So, you can imagine that obviously the most beautiful art is not going to be that which is drawn upon an already colored canvas, because that would just look like a jumbled mess, obviously.
Yes.
It's a mixture of two different ways of thinking.
Yes.
But one who is completely white, pure, open, and humble.
Like the fire said to
Yeah.
the field. Yeah. So.
Yeah, there's a beauty in the sense of purity of that whiteness, but at the same time, that purity is to be basically not decorated, but enhanced with with a culture or with a way of thinking, and that way of thinking in this case, or in the case of that in that particular writing, was that color resembled honor almost in a sense, but through the heart of a servant.
Yeah.
And so
that's very interesting. It's very applicable to us as
Oh,
young
yeah.
generation. Think about it. The culture encourage young people to be gifted, to be famous, as if when they done those things, garner followers. They have more say in social, in life, whatever problems they want to talk about, so they carry more weight.
yeah.
The truth of the matter, they might be more misleading than anyone else, so because young people are supposed to be humble and not be oppressed at all, but understand there's depth of everything and there's a breadth of everything. Attain on to that, then have a strong opinion about something, so don't make yourself a fool, so one day see one thing, the next day see another thing. There's no roots, no foundation. And interesting now, I'm also thinking about why you're talking about the chaos thing. Paul, in his wisdom, he said, his possibility said, I don't want to build on other one's foundations. He want to build the foundation he is engaged in laying, so.
It's also important to know that you have to have a foundation in the first place.
Need a foundation.
Yeah.
That's so true. Yeah. Well, who prayed for us? You pray for us. Yeah.
Amen.
I hope this kind of things are beneficial for you. I know sometimes it's around noon time and we're a little bit tired, but I hope you hear by your heart, So Elijah, is that okay for you? Yes. So yeah, good.
Lord, we are thankful, and Lord, we praise you, Lord, that you and your Spirit is our rock and our foundation. So Lord, I pray, Lord, that indeed we would build our house upon this rock. Lord, that we would be firmly rooted, Lord, in the promises that you have given us. Lord, to see those promises fulfilled. Lord, for our glory, Lord, and for yours. So Lord, we thank you, Lord, and we bless you. Lord, I pray that our lives would be laid humbly before you, Lord, in every way. Lord, our very hearts, Lord, the desires within our hearts and our minds. I pray that the way that we seek even to build our character, Lord, and to form and even get rid of certain habits, Father, would all be laid and submitted before you. Lord, that you would lead us in those things and that we would seek to do nothing outside of the will of your Spirit. So Lord, in this way, may we seek and even achieve, Lord, to adhere and fulfill your perfect will, Father. Lord, as you lead us to do so. So I pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
In Jesus' holy name.